Famous French writer Frédéric Beigbeder has already been in Ukraine more than 10 times. This year, he came to present the new Ukrainian translation of his newest novel. At the stand at the Lviv Publishing Forum, he held a book signing and chatted with his friends. The author admits that this close contact with Ukraine makes him share truthful information about the country with people around the world.
In fact, in my next book, I talk about Ukraine.
Doctor of Philosophy Lviv Publishers also had a stand at this forum. The man created a publishing house 18 years ago, setting a single goal to show Ukrainians the best works of world literature, which were previously inaccessible. Last year, he applied for a grant on literature translation from the EU Creative Europe project. His publishing house was the first in Ukraine to win a grant.
This grant implies not just the translation, but the diffusion of cultures in Europe, the migration of texts and authors, and the cooperation of translators and publishers. In 2017, Ukraine, for the first time, achieved the opportunity to join such a program. And since we published translations for a long time, European literature was printed here. We offered them our plan. They liked it, and they chose us.
The publishing house will present 8 new translations produced in cooperation with the EU. One large-scale work was presented at the fair.
I'll show you. You see this book size? It's from modern Polish science fiction author Jacek Dukaj, the novel Ice. Therefore, in addition to the EU, its publication was financed by the Polish Book Institute.
Poland is also interested in Ukrainian literature entering its market. On the Wrocław stand, the novel Lviv Saga by Ukrainian writer Petro Yatsenko was being sold. The book was translated into Polish.
The usual novel, because especially for Polish audience, because it started in 1907. The main characters are Polish, but in fact, that is a fantastic story, almost science fiction story, about the big game which is providing around the world, but by unknown people, starting here in Lviv, to create the new history of the world. And now we've got a very special situation in Poland, because so many Ukrainians working and living and studying in Poland. So we need to convince their Polish friends that the Ukraine is a huge culture we need to present.
The Polish version of the Lviv Saga was presented at the Les Kurbas Theater. Yuri Androkowicz, one of Ukraine's most eminent writers, joined the discussion on Ukraine-Polish literature exchange. Next year, the Wrocław Publishing House will release the translation of his new book. Books written by Andrukowicz have already been translated into 20 languages, and they are most popular in German-speaking countries and in Poland.
I think that this is largely due to the fact that I am fluent in these languages, German and Polish. And as an author, I work in a lot of translations. Then the translations are more qualitative. In addition, it is tradition that in those countries, the audience looks to the East with interest.
The Wrocław Literature House is launching a project on translating Ukrainian literature. The publishers plan to release 4 new books a year. These will include works that are already popular in Poland, as well as those still unknown there.